sleep.
Okay.
Go to sleep.
Is that
Darren's sporting the new Musashi bucket hat.
Is that
Available soon from our online store.
probably by the time this comes out? No, not now. But yeah, very soon.
Yeah, next couple of weeks.
Eyes peeled.
Yeah. No, it's great.
You are
great UV protection.
You're full Musashi today. The shirt, the cap,
underwear,
pants,
socks. Yeah.
It's not a good look.
It is a good look.
like
I
it.
like it.
I don't think he's going to encourage anyone to be buying that.
Well, he's got headphones underneath,
Yeah.
so it's not sitting correctly. But
No, but in reality, I got a bald head, so this is
yeah.
promoting good sun-safe behaviors.
Yeah,
You all
it's
know
a,
how bad
it's a,
sunscreen
it's a
is for you.
statement. Hey?
It is a statement.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Why,
But-
why haven't you got one on?
I like to look normal.
You're running that longer, slick back hair look these days, though. Would it fit under a bucket hat?
Sure.
You'd have the little curls
let's find
poking out
out.
the back.
Yeah, like a
Are
little
you still gunning
duck's
for this
ass.
mullet?
Hey?
Are you still gunning for a bit of a mullet?
No, I cut the mullet.
I noticed.
Yeah.
A bit disappointed.
It's a bit more
about
corporate now.
it. Oh,
Due to popular requests, this podcast is not about bucket hats and mullets, but
I thought that was the topic today.
no, we're actually talking about something else.
You mentioned it before. It was an awful segue.
yeah.
I tried.
Sleep. The importance of sleep
Sleep and
for recovery.
yeah. So we've talked about sleep.
Do you sleep well, Darren?
I sleep pretty well most of the time.
Yeah. Do you have like a bit of a bedtime routine? Are you consciously going, I need to get a good night's sleep every night?
Yeah, well, I track my sleep every night, so I know whether I.
He wears 15 wearables.
I'm
so-
double strapped,
Yeah.
Got
ankles as well. What?
no, just.
Why do you
both
wear
wraps.
those two things around your ankles? What are they for?
That's something else.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, and I think once I started tracking my sleep a bit more, I definitely got a bit more conscious about exactly how many hours I'm sleeping, and
You run the Whoop strap, right?
I like the Whoop. Yep.
Gives you a recovery score in the morning.
Big
Yep.
whoop.
So standard night, like if you're just doing your normal routine, what sort of recovery scores are you getting?
If I get a good night's sleep, I'm in the green, which is like 80% plus.
So how much
recovery.
does sleep impact that score? So say
Huge.
you did everything the same every day, but the only thing that changed was sleep.
Yep,
That impacts it.
hugely.
I think sleep is the single biggest factor when it comes to recovery from sport, exercise, everything.
I've heard nutrition.
Yep. Oh, hand in hand, I think. But I think sleep is.
Okay, if you could choose to
Oh, here we go.
not have, go 24 hours without eating or 24 hours without sleeping, and then play basketball next day, which way do you think you perform better?
Oh,
Not that we're recommending this to anybody.
I think
24 hours without sleep,
Oh, I do
or
that
24 hours without food. That is the question.
I do 24 hours of that sleep every weekend, though.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I still think I'd perform better having eaten,
You'd be hallucinating on the court.
probably.
You'd be that exhausted.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be
compared to
making.
starving. Yeah,
Yeah.
But after a certain amount of time, you know what it's like when you're
Yeah.
fasting.
your body
Yeah.
kind of gets used to it.
Okay,
and you
but
just have
now-
heaps of liquids.
Think about like 2 days, right?
Oh, yeah,
2 days. It's possible to do a 48-hour fast, like heaps of people do it, and you can still exercise. If you go 48 hours, 2 nights no sleep, if you've ever done it, because I haven't, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, yeah.
So how does sleep? Like, what happens to us when we sleep that's helping us to recover?
Well, from what I can measure, so, a lot of wearables track certain things about your body. So a few metrics feed into what they call a recovery score. So probably the most important metric is your heart rate variability.
Mm-hmm.
That means, is your heart rate the same the whole night, or is it going up? Is it going down? It's better to have higher heart rate variability, right? That signals like, things are happening. Your body's, doing some certain processes throughout the night. Another thing is your resting heart rate, right? A lot of people think about, resting heart rate. Lower resting heart rates typically means better fitness. The older, the younger you are as well, your age affects your resting heart rate. But typically lower resting heart rate is a signal of good fitness. Do you know your resting heart rate?
Yeah, well, I was in the hospital a couple of weeks ago for surgery, and they said mine was worryingly low.
Yeah, because you're pretty fit.
Yeah, exactly. I thought they were like, "Oh, do you run a lot?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Okay, you're cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like 30, like high 30s.
High 30s. That's
Yeah.
super low. That's like lower than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. You're the fittest man in the world.
Yeah.
Resting heart rate in the high 30s is like elite athlete.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, mine's about
I think
55.
there's other things.
Oh, really?
There's other things at play there with you, Hal.
100%, yeah.
55 is
A lot of said
yes.
yes.
55 to 60 is my normal range. It's not super elite, but it's pretty good, right? And
Normal person's around what, 70, 75?
70 to 80 is the normal
Really?
range. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
okay.
normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you're under that, you're doing pretty well.
Yep.
Yeah,
And another metric that feeds into your recovery score is your skin temperature, right? So, elevated or too hot or too cold skin temperature means you're, deviating from the norm. Might mean have some sickness, or your body's under a bit of stress or something like that, right? So
Right.
these three metrics feed together into your recovery score, right? And if you have a bad night's sleep, it affects all of them, right? So my resting heart rate sometimes, if say I have a late Saturday night, a couple beers or whatever, the next day my recovery score is terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Alcohol obviously impacts that,
Yeah,
but
mine would be
alcohol impacts your sleep.
Hmm.
My resting heart rate will be in the 70s plus,
Yeah.
right?
So while we're asleep, we're releasing certain types of hormones
Yeah, run me
that
through
are
it. So what-
assisting with sort of recovery and
Yeah, so how does the process of sleep actually impact recovery? Like, what is...
Well, sleep is, incredibly important and complex, but it's important for your mental cognitive function, your physical function, and your
Also growth.
hormonal
So
environment as well.
What actually happens when you sleep?
I know you're releasing growth hormone.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things that happens when sleep. But is that happening at certain times during your sleep? Like
Yeah.
there's different phases in your sleep, right?
There's different phases. You have shortwave sleep, REM sleep, deep sleep, and through these different stages of sleep, your body's doing different things. You're consolidating memories, for example. Your muscles are being repaired. You're not digesting anything, so your body's in a different mode. It's in the building and repairing mode, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of things happening in your body.
That sounds anabolic.
But each
Yeah.
phase in that sleep will be like different time periods. So you're not having sort of equal amount. You might only get, 10 minutes of deep sleep or 20 minutes of deep sleep a night.
Yeah.
So do you know what the recommended requirements are as far as the levels of sleep, like how long you should be in REM and deep sleep and whatnot? Or
I don't know off the top of my head, but
probably different for everyone.
yeah,
as
and
well.
there is a recommendation, but I guess if you track yourself, you kind of know whether you're deviating from your norm, right? Like sometimes getting too much deep sleep or REM sleep is not a good thing, because that means that you're kind of catching up as well to some lack of sleep. The best sleep that you can have is a consistent sleep, right? It's not just sleeping in on the weekends and things. It's having a consistent sleep schedule, having what they call good sleep hygiene. Like dark room, not too much stimulation before bed, not too much light before bed, good temperature. Creating that routine.
Well, the keys to a good routine don't often start at night time either, just before bed. Like your circadian rhythm, I've noticed it since we've gone to daylight savings.
Yeah.
It throws even just that hour difference. The first week, 2 weeks, I was struggling, and it just throws it out. But so your sleep can be impacted from what you do first thing in the morning. I know there's a lot of research now. It's like the first thing you should do is get up and sort of look into some not direct sunlight, but get direct sunlight.
Yeah. No, I look at direct
To sort of
sunlight.
set in your body clock, right?
If you wake up early enough, the sun is low enough that it doesn't really hurt your eyes, so you can look at the sun. I try to do it every morning because I live in a high rise, right?
I'm hardcore. I wait till lunchtime to stare.
Yeah,
That does not surprise me.
Yeah.
3 minutes of blindness is gonna pay off.
So the benefit of sleep in terms of recovery from exercise is the process of like these hormones being released that have this building and repair function.
That's
In a summary, yep.
That's part of it. Yeah.
That's the bulk of it. Okay.
But yeah, there's lots of things happening in your body, and I guess another big thing is cortisol and your stress hormone, right? So cortisol can be thought of as a very catabolic hormone, right? Like that's when your body's
Breaks down
breaking
muscle.
things apart to give you energy rather than putting things together and building, right? Which is anabolic. So when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol levels are really elevated, right? Like that's kind of how you wake up. So throughout the night though, it's relatively low. Your body's in that as low stress as you can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you're building and recovering. Yeah.
Interesting.
Some other tips.
Yeah.
Invest in a good quality pillow, like
Fuck yeah, it makes a huge difference.
100%.
Yep.
Like I used to just use this normal pillow from, I don't know, can't remember where I bought it from, but then I went online and bought this really nice pillow. I was like, God damn, felt like I never slept before in my life.
Have you seen those new ones where you can like put your arm up through it and have
yeah.
like I'm a bit of a side sleeper with my arm up
Yeah.
and know how your blow up doll's not counted as a pillow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hal
God.
sleeps on a different pillow every night.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
haven't been home in months.
Human pillow.
Yeah. You know what else affects sleep? Caffeine.
Caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So a lot of people, taking a lot of stimulants, caffeine
Yeah,
too late in the day can impact
Well,
your
that's
sleep.
this. That's all of our most of our consumers, right? Are training it in the afternoon, night. A lot of them are taking pre-workout supplements or caffeine.
Darren's
Loaded supplements.
An absolute hypocrite there. You said you double screw pre-workout at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
Well,
some people are more
Insane.
impacted
True.
than others. But if I was to do that, if I was
Yeah.
to have one scoop at 5 o'clock, I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Same.
Yeah. And I used to do that until I started measuring my sleep quality. I was like, okay,
Really?
maybe
But
this
it's
caffeine at night is not great. Like, it helps you perform, but it's
Yeah.
going to impact your
It's
sleep.
not worth it.
It's a catch-22.
Yeah.
You want to use the benefits of caffeine for training. Look, Hal's already sleeping.
Yeah, you're putting me to sleep.
Yeah. So they say like,
so is
after
there something to offset it, like that you can do to offset that caffeine?
there are things that you can do to offset it, but really, the first thing you should do is not have too much caffeine after around 4 p.m. Even if you're training at like 5 or 6, just have your caffeine a little bit earlier. Have a pre-workout or energy drink.
Well, there are other things you can consume
Yeah.
that don't have caffeine that have
Yeah.
a similar.
But let's not
effect
forget
on
that
energy.
caffeine is one of the most beneficial sports ingredients out there, right?
Yeah.
It has a role.
It's a timing thing and
yeah.
tolerance thing. So you just
So
got to figure out what works for you.
Realistically, this will depend entirely on a lot of people's careers, but one of the best things you can do is just exercise earlier in the day so you can have caffeine around that training time.
True. But yeah, and also, avoiding intense workouts too close to bedtime is not going to be that beneficial for you, right? Because you're still going to be too stimulated. Your body temperature is going to be elevated, right? Part of what makes you go to sleep is having this, decreased body temperature. So like a hot shower can help you, because a hot shower, your body's actually your core temperature is actually dropping to cool you down, right? So.
Outside of, so we talk about caffeine, are there any ingredients or anything that you can consume that can help you sleep as opposed to disrupt it?
Well, yes, there are a few things. So
leading the witness, Your Honor.
yeah, supplements can definitely help you sleep, right?
Yeah.
It's in the dietary supplement world. It's one of the biggest and most popular categories, right? In other countries, people take melatonin, but you can't take that here. It's not approved in Australia. Other things like 5-HTP, really good for sleep, not approved in Australia. The reason why these things aren't approved is we have quite strict regulations, and there's a plausible thing that these supplements can interact with like medications. There's a lot of people on antidepressants and all these kind of things in Australia too.
We live in a nanny state, dear, and you don't have to dance around it.
Yeah. Anyway.
But there are some other ingredients, herbal ingredients. There's
There are.
some minerals, magnesium, and things like that.
Tell me about these herbal ingredients, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
well, on that topic, alternative therapies, things like CBD and THC can influence your sleep a lot.
They can help you get to sleep.
Yep. So CBD is meant to be really good for sleep. THC actually can put you to sleep, but negatively affects your
Deep
sleep
sleep.
quality.
Apparently, you can't get into deep sleep.
That's right. So you'll have a light sleep.
Yeah,
the whole night.
you're constantly in a light sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But it will definitely help you get to sleep. So if you're someone that struggles to get to sleep, it can help you.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not going to help with that deep sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And alcohol is the same. It can
Yeah.
a nightcap can help you feel a bit sleepy and put you to sleep, but it actually impacts your sleep quality, right?
I find alcohol has more of an impact than potential that other herbal things can. Not
Yeah.
that I'd know. My friend told me.
Let me put the logo back
Native
on the
American.
screen.
But look,
so outside of melatonin,
Yeah. So one of the most popular supplements is magnesium, right? So
100%. I think people under-consume magnesium in general. I think athletes do.
Yeah. Well, they say that vitamin D and magnesium are the two most common nutrient deficiencies, in Australia.
Magnesium has so many other benefits beyond just sleep as well.
Which obviously have different benefits. So
there are different types of magnesium, and they get absorbed differently by your body and utilized differently by your body. Some magnesium has a laxative effect, some magnesium puts you to sleep, right? So there's all different types.
So magnesium would be definitely one that you look at to help you sleep,
and it really helps your nervous system function, right? So it's complicated, but basically it helps your nervous system and your electrolyte balance and things.
Well, it is an electrolyte.
Yeah.
We do have a new product coming out, and probably by the time this podcast goes live, it's probably going to be already on the...
It's available at Musashi.com currently.
Musashi.com, and it'll be in Chemist Warehouse soon. Sleep recovery formula. So this came about really from the request of a lot of our consumers that were using a lot of pre-workouts and asking for some a product formulation to help them sort of come down off that caffeine hit.
That's right.
And to calm their nervous system and help them get to sleep. So what else is in this? There is a good dose of magnesium.
There is. There's 310 milligrams of magnesium, which is more than your daily requirement. So it's a
chunk.
It's a really good hit. There's a lot of zinc in there. So zinc and magnesium, pretty popular. Zinc helps you lots of things. Your immunity, your testosterone production. And some studies have actually shown zinc and magnesium combined can help sleep quality. So those are in there because they're basically used in so many different functions of your body. A lot of enzymes in your body use these nutrients for different functions and all these different processes that are happening while you're sleeping.
What about passion flower?
Yep, passion flower. So passion flower is it's a herbal extract that's been around for many, many hundreds of years. And
some say thousands.
Maybe.
Millions.
Oof, I don't know. It depends how deep you want to go.
I'm watching Ancient Apocalypse Season 2 now.
Oh, really?
So it could go back at least 30,000 years.
Maybe 80,000.
What's passion flower, dear?
Sorry, back to the point.
So passion flower is this herbal extract. It contains something called apigenin, which is it can bind to something called GABA receptors. So GABA is a neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitters can excite you or depress you. Not in the depressed term, but the opposite of excite. So this apigenin can bind to GABA receptors and has a somewhat of a sedative effect. So traditionally used for many, many years, and recent studies show that this can actually improve your REM sleep, so your rapid eye movement part of your sleep, which is good for your mental function. Another thing that's in there,
Sisyphus.
Yeah, so Sisyphus is so passion flower has been traditionally used in more in Western herbal medicine, right?
Yeah.
Ziziphus has been traditionally used in Eastern herbal medicine, Chinese traditional medicine, right? So
East side's the
East
best.
side?
West side's the best.
I thought Musashi was a Japanese brand.
It's made in New Zealand. But anyway, traditionally used in Chinese medicine for hundreds of years for its calming and sedative properties, right? So it has a calming effect. And recent research says that it actually has like a neuroprotective effect, so it can affect your brain from the stress that you're receiving from certain things. Maybe in the future there might be some research on impact and things on your brain. So you've got this.
It's a nice little blend of ingredients there.
Yeah, you've got this axis in your brain. It's called a hypothalamic pituitary axis, the HPA, right? And this is really very important when it comes to secreting hormones, right? So this Ziziphus extract is currently being researched for its ability to balance this axis, right? And that's actually what is responsible for releasing growth hormone in your body.
Is there anything else in here that isn't, or that doesn't sound like complete gibberish?
Yeah, so
it's all basic stuff to
there's
me.
a few amino acids in there, right?
Ziziphus and the hypercholesterol or whatever.
Yeah, that's the name of a children's book. So there's some amino acids in there, right? So there's
you got your branched chains.
You got some BCAAs, and then you've got something called glycine. So glycine is the most simple amino acid. So
a bit like the most simple amino acid.
Hi.
So glycine is like the smallest amino acid, right?
Right.
it's definitely not Hal.
Yeah. So basically, glycine is itself a neurotransmitter, right? So your brain uses glycine for signaling, right? That's what neurotransmitters are. And it's actually been shown in some research to lower your body temperature, right?
Ooh.
So particularly useful after exercise and after caffeine, right? Because that's going to be, overstimulating you. So there's actually a good chunk of glycine in there. There's actually 3 grams per dose.
That's a good point on body temperature and getting to sleep.
Yeah.
You know a bit about that? Tell us.
Yeah, so, if your body temperature is too high, you're going to struggle to get to sleep, right? And it's often this drop in temperature from high to low that actually puts you to sleep, right? So having a hot shower, getting into a cold bed is usually one way to achieve that.
So avoid your ice baths at night.
Oh, really?
Because your body will, it depends how close you're doing it to sleep time, but
2 or 3 hours.
think of what's happening. Your core temperature's going down.
Yeah.
After an ice bath, it's low, and your body's doing what it can to warm itself back up, and that can be counterproductive to actually getting to sleep. You want the opposite.
Yeah,
So a sauna at night,
yeah, well, that's what if I'm following an ice bath with a sauna?
that'd be fine. As long as you're getting your core temperature back up, and then your body's doing its best to cool itself down.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're feeling, even if you go into an ice bath, you're getting hot. If you go into a sauna, you're actually getting cooler.
But think
inside.
of what your body's doing to counteract
Exactly.
the actual outside feeling.
Yeah. So,
So beyond just muscle repair and muscle growth and gain, like the sleep's super important for cognition as
and
well.
energy levels.
Energy levels and cognition. Like cognition for an athlete is super important. You want to be focused, dialed in to your sport.
Particularly if you're playing a sport. If you're just like lifting weight, that's one thing. Like the energy comes with motivation, and that's easy to kind of.
well, I'll tell you one thing. You ain't going to lift a lot of weight if you don't get some good sleep.
No, but I'm saying like even to an even greater extent, playing sport, we actually need to be switched on and paying attention to,
And then potentially lifting weight as well.
plays and strategy and
when
defense.
when your reaction time actually,
exactly.
matters. Yeah.
Even from a training perspective, like trying to memorize skills, drills, movements, whatever. If you're not cognitively on, you'll struggle to memorize those moves, those plays.
100%. I noticed I can play particularly silly. After on a Sunday without having slept much.
Well, maybe there's another point, right? Like sleep is really good for regulating your mental health and emotions too, right? So maybe you're unnecessarily aggressive if you didn't sleep.
I've been told off by the refs a few times.
Well, that's the first thing you notice. Like if you haven't had a good night's sleep, the next day you generally wake up, you're a bit irritable, right? We get that every day with him in the office.
Yeah, actually, I went to the fitness expo 2 weeks ago, and being a supplement junkie, I tried every pre-workout that was there.
Oh my God.
It wasn't the smartest idea. Maybe I had about 600 milligrams of caffeine. I was trying to keep count, but it's hard when you're having a little shot glass.
Carry on.
But I was very wired from these pre-workouts and these energy drinks.
Do you have your T-back singlet on though?
No.
What?
Those days are behind me.
How do you go to a fitness expo without that on?
Yeah. But anyway, like I was so tired because we're busy there the whole day talking to people, whatnot, and then the worst thing is when you're super tired and super wired of caffeine.
Oh, that's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, and that's definitely when I was very cranky because I also chose to move house that weekend.
Smart. You should have just superdosed your sleep recovery. Have you guys had much of this?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it's an awesome.
Fantastic.
It's one of the most underrated products in our range by far, and it's the one I've given it to quite a few people. It's the one that everyone comes back to me and raves about this product in particular, helping them sleep.
Well, it's something like somewhat unique.
Yeah,
it's like almost everyone has a pre-workout or a creatine or whatnot. Not a lot of brands have a functional supplement product or sleep supplement.
I think sleep's something that's impacting more and more people. Our lives are getting busier and busier. We're getting more and more stressed. Our diet and nutrition is nowhere near the quality that it used to be. We're putting ourselves under so much more adrenal stress and whatnot, and people are struggling to sleep. And I think that's why so many people are looking for options to get them to sleep. And I think natural options are the way to go first.
100%.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, go and get a stack load of gummies. No, I don't. I'm not for that.
One of the good things.
Sleep gummies, I mean.
Yeah.
One of the good things about wearables is you can actually journal things that you have. So I'm going to start journaling this, see how it impacts my sleep.
Yeah.
Let's do a one-person study on you.
All right, done.
All right.
Yeah, I love it too.
We'll run this study for 6 years. We'll report back in.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys.
No.
You never know when we're gonna drop the result.
Part 2,
Yeah.
2029.
But an hour before bed, I noticed that shit completely relaxes me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the state you want to be in going to bed.
Yeah, actually, when I was developing that in the lab, doing
You
some-
fell
some
asleep?
flavor work. Yeah, I was like, those
They found him under the lab.
so
Is that what you were going to say, that?
yeah, pretty much. So yeah,
I thought it was something else.
We've all felt
it definitely works.
before, Darren.
Yeah.
Does my motor have anything to say about sleep?
Well,
Yes.
that's a funny.
Funny you
question.
should ask.
I'm sure he does. Because
It's got the tag on the back of his hat.
Yeah, I know.
yeah, it's a brand new hat.
It's very key and pale.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, you
Hat?
showed me
Yeah,
that.
it's the best.
Actually, there's nothing about sleep in here.
The first time,
First
time ever. God. Do not make the mistake that's thinking that it's. We could be here for hours.
Yeah.
100%. No wonder you never find it.
Oh no, there is a quote on sleep.
Really?
It's a famous quote. So
Oh, yeah?
it's
Do you know it?
do not sleep under a roof. Carry no money or food. Go alone to places frightening to the common brand of men.
Well, that has nothing to do with sleep except it uses the word sleep. But I'm not going to find anything better. So I think
Yeah.
that'll do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to ask ChatGPT
All right.
just for something. I'm going to bring AI into this podcast.
Mhm.
What does Miyamoto Musashi say about sleep?
In the meantime, go to your local chemist warehouse and Woolies, crack open some Musashi sleep recovery.
Yep. Available now on Musashi.com.
Yeah, you're right, Darren. Do not sleep under a roof. Carry no money or provisions for your journey. This reflects his belief in self-reliance, constant awareness, and the importance of being prepared for any situation.
Yeah.
He emphasized the need to maintain a disciplined and vigilant mindset. His views underline the importance of focus and preparedness, qualities necessary not just in life, but martial arts.
For the record, Musashi does not endorse the idea that sleeping outside will improve your recovery.
Who was, didn't Yuri Prohaska sleep on like a bed of
He slept in
nails or something?
Oh,
he slept in a room with no lights for like 30 days.
Was that the
Yeah.
UFC fighter?
Yeah.
No.
It's a bit nuts. I think I might go to ChatGPT for the Miyamoto quotes now.
Yeah.
That was
good
heaps
idea,
quicker.
'cause it's useless, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I've used every line of that book so far.
It's pretty dog-eared too, every page. It's
Yeah.
time to step aside. Anyway, good
That's our
podcast.
time to
Thanks.
wrap up.
Cool. Musashi.
See you guys
Musashi
soon.
out.